You're a student of American business,
Yeah.
which intertwines American politics. What is your read on Donald Trump? You know, he ran The Apprentice in the U.S.
Yeah.
Back then, if you would have told me he had a chance of being president, I think we both would have said very unlikely.
Yeah.
But we've seen him come up through the ranks. Before I finish, I'll say Americans love a winner.
Yeah.
They love a businessman who's been successful,
Yeah.
probably more so than they even know. What's your read on Trump as a businessman and as a politician?
Okay, this is a tough question to answer because he is an interesting guy, and I think that at times he's a very unsavory kind of character. He says and does things which are just stupid. They verge on stupidity. But the belief that man and conviction he speaks with and the self-belief he has and the positive attitude he's taken towards getting to president, I actually think he's going to win it. And if you asked me that a year ago, I would have been like, you're mad. But he's going to win it, I think. And I think that it's either going to do one of two things for America and the world, because whoever's running America, let's face it, has got a pretty big say on the free world. He's either going to do great things or terrible things, because he's that kind of character. He has to leave his mark on things. But more than anything, what I've taken from that, if Donald Trump can become president of America, anyone can do anything. This is a guy who's literally paved his own way by believing in Donald Trump and the way he takes things on and the self-belief. And that's what I encourage people to watch from him, is he's just a normal bloke. But he believed so much in what he could do. If you went back in time and asked him if he'd be president, he told you who he was going to be, and he's just worked every day towards that. He's been bankrupt 3 times. He's failed more times than he's succeeded, but he keeps getting up, going and believing in himself. And actually, if he wins it, fair play to the guy. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
It's going to be fascinating. You said that so well. If you listen to the words sometimes, you think it's a madman.
Yeah.
But like, if you look to the frame he has and the confidence he has in himself and his brand, he's gotten there for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's put in the hard work. He's put in all of the ups and downs. I remember I read The Art of the Deal, 20, 25 years ago when that first came out, and I was in New York City when he was there and saw all that happening. And it's just fascinating to watch because the Americans are voting for him, even though a lot of people don't want to say they are, but someone is voting for him.
Well, I was in America recently, and I made a rule, every taxi I got into, I'd ask who they were going to vote for. Every single taxi driver I spoke to said Donald Trump, and their opinion of, I don't know if what that says about taxi drivers, I don't know America that well, but everyone was saying he's got pretty good, he's pretty popular. And when you're coming over from the UK, he's not that popular here. Certainly, after some of his early remarks in his campaign, he made himself very unpopular in the UK, and there was a petition to ban him from the UK. That was some of the early stuff, and that's the point I went over, and everyone in America saying, you know what? We need a bit of a shake-up over here, and if anyone's going to shake it up, it's Donald Trump. And I think he is potentially, you could say, the best of a bad bunch at the minute, but he's going to do it, and he's going to do it through self-belief. And actually, he's turned me from a pretty naysayer to someone that's like, you know what, he's fought so hard for it, he believes in himself, give the guy a go, and let's see where we are with this.
You got to get in trouble. No, I think he's got a very good chance of winning.
I think so.
Yeah, he does, and it's going to be fascinating. And again, he's very real. And I remember looking at that Republican debate, one of the first ones he was at, and it was Jeb Bush and all of these other cronies, and I was just like, how can anyone take anything they're saying seriously?
Yeah.
Because it's all scripted and it's nonsense and it's
which tie do I wear, which goes best with opinion, and all of this stuff. And when I watched the first debate, I have a real love for politics, and particularly American politics. I don't know if it was House of Cards that got me onto it, but anyway, it's just, I like politics in general. And the presence Donald Trump commanded in that first debate, you just wanted the camera to pan back to him and hear what he was going to say next. And that was me as a viewer. So if I'm thinking that, everyone else is thinking that, aren't they? No one cares what Jeb Bush has got to say. That guy was on The Apprentice, he's a businessman, he's going to say something crazy. And it was entertaining more than anything. And then you started to think, actually, what he's saying makes a bit of sense. And actually, he's making more sense than these other guys. And then all of a sudden, each week, his campaign gained momentum. And you talk about the power of Twitter. I follow Donald on Twitter, and he's done more damage through his Twitter than these guys have done with hundreds of millions through advertising in America. And, he's probably done it a lot cheaper. And that's the businessman in him coming out.
It's going to be fascinating watching it happen. And Americans love a good show.
Yeah.
That's for sure. What are you grateful for? To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonreelacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media login and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonreelacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.